Commissioner Dolick here. Commissioner Austin. Commissioner no. Others in the audience?
Mark Roscoe, Public Works.
Bob Taylor, Finance Department.
Deputy Chief Neil Durham, Prospect SPD.
Alright, and then we'll just do the, I'll make a motion to allow Pam electronically, and then someone will second. Okay. And then we can roll call vote on there real quick, so Chairman Chen?
Aye.
I'll aye too. And then Pam, you're all good then to be in the meeting now.
Okay, great.
Do you want to take over from the business? Here.
Item A, quarterly grant disbursement, finance department.
Oh, yeah.
Last time we talked about, I believe it's the agenda, there's a couple items that are tweaking on here that I think we're going into some voting stations here, but I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
And then roll call, Chairman Chen? Commissioner Dolick?
Aye.
Commissioner Anderson?
Aye.
And then Commissioner Ross. Alright, so now we're going to get
Okay, for a bit, for quarterly grant disbursements, we have quarterly grant disbursement for Hilton would be $24,450, for Crown Plaza, $13,175, Holiday Inn Express at $8,050, Ramada Inn would be $4,800, Motel 6 is $66.25, and the Sherwood Inn quarterly would be $225. And again, these are all contingent upon proper paperwork being submitted. These numbers were comprised for the city's budget, for the FY25 budget, by using historical numbers of revenues that came in from each of the different hotels and come up with an estimate of exactly what would be brought in for FY24, and we carried it forward for FY25 for the quarterly disbursements.
Usually when is the paperwork step?
Before the quarter ends.
Alright, so
So beautification update?
we need a motion actually to
Okay.
just approve that. So,
All right, Chen, aye.
well, actually, I'll make the motion. Someone a second. Okay. And then roll call, Chairman Chen?
Chen, aye.
Commissioner Dolick? Aye. Commissioner Anderson?
Aye.
And then Commissioner Austin? Alright.
Beautification update. Everything's moving along just fine over there. We had irrigation turned on about a week and a half ago. There was some damage found from snow plowing the state road, some cars that had gone off the road up there, knocking out sprinkler heads and smashing them over the off season. All that was up and fixed, and everything was in play. It's good because it's been dry for the last few days, and it's going to be dry all week. Extra mulch and cleanup was done. There was a lot of dead trees and overgrowth around the Palatine Road Expressway that was cleaned up about 2 weeks ago. May 24th, the new blue banners were put up alongside the patriotic banners prior to the Memorial Weekend. We did receive the new blue banners and the new green banners about a month ago, as we had talked about from our past meetings that we're going to get new banners. So we're in a holiday mood. Those will stay up till after 4th of July, and then we'll do a couple swap outs as we talked about. So it's nice to see the new blue banners. They are bright and vibrant compared to the old ones that we had that were showing their age. And another positive income note, an accident that we had earlier in the year that took out our power control box. The insurance company and the driver came through and reimbursed us for it, so that'll go back into the beautification fund. So we actually have money going into it for a change instead of just coming out at my end. So that's really it on that. Just in summer mode now. So, any questions, David?
Good Good morning. Two items that I want to bring to the tourism board's attention. Number one, about 3 weeks ago, there was a car accident at the Prospect Inn, Sherwood Inn. A car went into one of the buildings. It took out for a day all units in this small little building behind. We want to thank Motel 6 for taking those people for the night until the structural engineer was out there and assessed that only one of the motel rooms had to stay vacated. So they're in the process of getting their engineering and their permitting completed. Also, too, in speaking with Mr. Fiandaca, they're in the process of getting permits to bring more units online. It's a slow process for them because they inherited the hotel in that condition. So, the second one is, I'm sure everybody's been aware that the Ramada property has been up for sale for a number of years. There was tentatively an auction scheduled for last month. That got postponed and canceled. It was actually earlier this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and we were informed that Ramada has been sold. I don't know if it will stay in a hotel operation or not, and not exactly sure when the closing is going to happen, but in the meantime, it will continue to operate until the actual transfer of the property. The Chicago Executive Airport did close off the northern parking lot north of the restaurant, Longneck property. Vermont actually had a lease for 17 spaces over there, and they had fallen behind in payments, so the airport, that's why you saw the barricades in those parking spots and the lines down, because they took back those spaces. Didn't have an impact on the use of the hotel. It's still a legal non-conforming property based on its age and the conditions, both prior to the city and the village taking ownership. So it's not impacting their day-to-day to that effect. It just puts a little bit of a potential strain on parking, but the occupancy limit at use of the hotel has been low, so there's not, I don't believe, issue parking. And that's all I have.
Good morning. There are no issues to report from any of the tourism district businesses. We have been speaking with the business representatives, front desk clerks, owners. There are no new issues to report since the last meeting. Some important calls for service at various locations. Over at Crown Plaza, there was a DUI arrest. It was an officer-initiated call for service that came out as a reckless driver that resulted in a DUI arrest. Holiday Inn, there was an incident which was a shooting in between the Friday Coop and Holiday Inn. It's currently being investigated. We do have some good leads for that case. Motel 6, as Director Peterson mentioned, they did, I'm sorry, the Sherwood Inn, the driver that struck the building ended up being intoxicated. He was arrested, and this was one of the first times we ended up using the Helping Hands Fund, which was developed by our social services, to pay for those rooms for the residents to stay in Motel 6. That was very good. Players Pub in Ramada, there was no major incidents to report. Motel 6 had a DUI arrest. There was a driver found in the vehicle. There was a death investigation recently. That investigation is still ongoing. It is a possible overdose, and nothing else to report at Rockies, American Grill, or any other businesses. Second part of my talking point is going to be the cameras. We already discussed that. Since the last time we spoke, the company that we were talking to about the cameras, they came out with a new camera, a surveillance camera, that allows for PTZ capabilities. It allows for zoom in and zoom out, and it's also a camera that wirelessly talks to the license plate reading cameras. essentially when a vehicle is picked up on a license plate reading camera that we have in town, that information will be transferred over to these new surveillance cameras, and that vehicle then can be mapped through the cameras to figure out a path of travel. Very good technology. As I said, the zoom capabilities are extraordinary, and the detail that you pick up in the image when zooming in is very good. I would still like to be on track for these cameras. The first phase of the cameras would entail setting up the cameras along the east side of Prospect Heights and some on Milwaukee Avenue near the Holiday Inn Express. The second phase of cameras, second year, we would explore to talk with the Crown Plaza and the Hilton owners to see if there are light posts on their property that have 120 volt direct power that runs nonstop. The reason being is that light poles that are close to roadways and owned by IDOT, they present a challenge in getting those permits approved. IDOT just wants us to jump through a lot of hoops. That's why we would explore light posts that are on the properties of the businesses, which would make it a lot easier for us to set up those surveillance cameras on those properties. So slight change to what we initially talked about, which was going to all license plate reading cameras, and now with the new camera that Flock has made available, we deem those cameras much better. The cost, we're looking to install 7 cameras, and the cost will be $24,000 for equipment and installation for the first year, and obviously the second and subsequent year, those costs would be taken on by the city, by the police department, because as we discussed, the tourism district could not continue funding those cameras for the second year and subsequent years.
So what is, explain again that there's an initial cost, but the ongoing cost that the city would have to take over. What is that cost?
$3,000 a camera. What that entails is maintenance and upgrades. If Flock comes out with a brand new camera, they come out and they drop it in place free of cost. That's what the $3,000 gets you. It gets you 30 days of storage. It gets you software updates. It gets you any kind of maintenance, any kind of repair, weather related, whatever it may be. That all falls into $3,000, and they are responsible for it.
Is that per camera?
That's per camera.
So my question is, can the city take that on?
Well, currently, our surveillance cameras that we have are unfortunately constantly breaking down, and they are requiring a lot of funding to just repair it. The cameras are owned outright by the city, and once we replace some of the cameras, we would look to sell those cameras. In speaking to Chief, yes, that's something that we can take on.
Because the capabilities sound great, they sound perfect as far as what we need, so I'm all in favor of that as long as we feel that the city can take on that cost annually.
Yeah,
The capabilities are great.
yeah, between and obviously this is, if we can't take it on, we can always cancel. This is not a 5-year, 10-year agreement, it's a year by year. So come next year, if we can't find the funding, we simply tell Flock we are no longer able to support this, they come down and take their cameras. Or we tell them we're able to support 3, 4, 5 cameras. This is not set in stone. But between the police department and public works, we definitely, as of this moment, we feel like we can take this on, but it is not a contract that we're signing for longer than a year.
Yeah, in terms of security, that would be such an enhancement, that would be very much supported.
Absolutely, because our current infrastructure and the current cameras that are out there are wireless cameras. They're powered, they have a hardwired system, but they're powered in terms of transmission through an antenna. An antenna has to see another antenna, they call it an access point, in order to supply that data and that footage. These cameras, it's all self-contained. So each camera has its own proprietary wireless network through AT&T FirstNet, and it does not talk to another camera to get its power. It's all contained within that camera. There are no lags, there's no drop in coverage, there's no drop in data, and that is why this system, what they came out with, and they host all the data. So there's no bug in our system to where currently you need to have a server to host that information that the camera records. So all of those issues are addressed with a single flock camera.
On the, if you speak for the finance side, we already have approval for the first stage of it already for this year to get things rolling. And the follow-up years, between us, we've talked about it, it really seems feasible that we can make all that work. Because there's an outlay every year to keep the existing network up and running in a contract with a provider. And that can be reduced drastically because we won't be playing the game of fixing antennas and the wind blows and something fails, or a contractor on a building moves an antenna array because they're fixing the roof. There's just constant things that go on. There's a huge outlay of finances to that. And this would streamline it where we get rid of that antiquated technology on the east side. And then our contractor will only worry about all of our hardwired cameras that are part of City Hall, Public Works, and stuff like that. So I think the dip on that money to spend this, and then we have other sources that are going to fill in the gap. So I don't see the finances next year as a stumbling block. We could make it work, but I think with the difference of the what we're paying now, I think we're in good shape. And put together a nice product.
Yeah, I could, Director Roscoe, every time these cameras are down, or any camera, surveillance camera, he has to allocate a bucket truck, a couple of employees. There's also savings there. With Flock, there's none of that. This is entirely on them, and they maintain it. And we've had their license plate reading cameras for some time now. They work flawlessly. They have no issues. And whenever there is any kind of issue, they're fast to come on scene and handle whatever they need.
Yeah, again, I'm very much in favor of this. This is really going to help our security when it comes to that.
And like I said, it's also going to benefit a lot of the businesses in the area, a lot of the hotels. And the second phase would be exploring cameras on the actual property to avoid having to go through the night hoops.
When you asked about the 112 direct power light roofs, is there a specific location of the property that you're looking for, or is this any in the property line?
So ideally on the property, right, that's contained on the property. Strategically, we would look to see where we would get the best visibility. These cameras can be zoomed in up to a quarter mile, and they can be zoomed out. So with that being said, we could pick different spots, but where it would be strategically placed, we would look at the tactical advantage that will give us the best view and where the most action is.
Gotcha. This, I will get back to you on that after you
Okay.
with the engineering department, and probably will get back to you on.
Very good.
I think all, pretty much everybody's on different camera projects.
It's 120 volts. Why some light poles out there run on different current. 208 was a popular power source for light poles, so we want to stick with power lines that are 120, so there's no reverbers and extra stuff.
Gotcha. So I'll double check on that. Moving on to, do you have to motion for the new businesses or what?
Yes, for the cameras, are we?
I think there's any motion.
Okay.
Just
Yeah, it was just an update.
Yeah.
Just an update.
It was already approved.
this year's already been approved.
Yeah, that's right. Moving on to, well, you already talked about the old business too. So, any public comments? Cool. Moving along. Next meeting, Friday, September 6, 2024, at 9 a.m. Small City Time. And anybody is objective to that? No?
I'll just motion to adjourn and then someone will second it.
Second?
All right, and then all in favor?
Aye.